Okay, give it 30 seconds. I'm so sorry. It's setting it up, but I think we're good. There we go. Okay, give it 30 seconds. I'm so sorry. All right, now that's muted, so we're all good.
All right, we're live on YouTube.
We're live.
We're live. Well, hi everybody. Do you want to spotlight me there, Helen, and I'll do a little introduction about what we're doing and who's who and what's going on. So, hi everybody. I am Jennifer Stenhouse. I am the president of the Seattle Metals Guild, and I'm coming to you live from Seattle, Washington. And we've got 4 fabulous artists that we're going to be touring their studios this evening. And Helen Cowart is our woman behind the scenes who's going to make things happen for us. And hopefully we can take you on a nice little tour. I've set up a little wine and cheese and flowers for you guys, since it's a little bit of an art walk here at the studio. We're really excited that we've got Nicole Addison calling in from North Carolina, who is actually part of the Metals Guild here and lived in the Pacific Northwest for a while. We've got Sharrey Doré, who is in Seattle, and Micki Lippe, who will be joining us shortly. So we're going to be actually starting over at Nicole's studio in North Carolina. So Nicole, are you there?
Say it again. Okay, come on, come into my studio.
Hi there, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you? I'm trying to.
We're doing great, we're doing great. So welcome, tell us about you and where you are.
So I'm in North Carolina, but I used to live in Renton, and which is next to Seattle, and I used to live in Olympia for 15 years, and I love SMG, and so I ended up moving here a few years ago and to North Carolina. So I'm here in North Carolina, and I love it here too, but I miss the Northwest so much. So anyway, so here's my new studio.
It's so lovely.
Thank you. Okay, come on in.
Wow. Oh my gosh, show us around.
Okay, so I planned this before and now I'm trying to remember. Okay, so thank you. So if you'd like to take a gander at let me change it. So anyway, let's go this way. So this is my table that I work on, and I love antiques. So I found this guy to hang all my flex shack from, and this used to be a drafting table that I actually had to cut it a little bit smaller, but it's been such a great table. I had to work it and change it, put this in here for storage, and but yeah, it's been such a great table to work on. And
wow.
Yeah. And
what are you working? Are you working on some of the stuff now?
Yes. I'll get to that stuff.
Okay.
This is my anvil here, and then this is my rolling mill and my Beverly shear.
Is that a tea cozy that you have propped over your anvil? That's lovely. I love your covers. You have the most wonderful shabby chic studio I've ever seen.
Well, I don't like a lot of sharp things everywhere, so I put stuff over it. And this is my storage space here, and I love these 2 birds with the flower. I thought that was so beautiful. I think this is from France. And I just love this, and this is where I store everything. So I've got my wax working stuff supplies here, and then little tools and things, and beads, and some books and some stones, and I even keep little. I love to keep like old leaves and things in the rolling mill. It's really pretty. And yeah, so, and then that's my soldering station there. And I have this awesome exhaust, which I love. It's so strong. I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can't hear.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it so much. Yeah. What you don't know is I used to have in one of my studios, I used to have just an exhaust. It was part of a window unit, and I had an exhaust system, and I would solder something, and I would hold my breath, and I would turn on the exhaust on my window unit, and then I would run. I would like run away, and and then I'd wait for everything to die down, and then I'd come back in, and that's how I used to solder. So you should see some of the studios I used to have. This is amazing comparatively. And so that if you go into this area here, that is where I have some polishing, and then that is my kiln for doing lost wax casting.
Oh my gosh. You have, yeah, I love the crown on top of your Paragon kiln. That is
Yeah.
perfect.
The antiques in the South are so inexpensive. It's so great to be able to get these nice inexpensive antiques. And for example, I put a sink on top of that antique over there, and so that's my sink area. So
Lovely, lovely. So is this like a what kind of little building is this? Is it behind your house?
It
Did
is.
you add it on?
I had it built because I had the house being built at the same time, and so I just made sure that they built this building onto it. So
Fantastic.
yeah, it was great. And so here's some of the stuff I'm working on now. So this is, if you want to focus on the work, this is a necklace that I have made, and so it's fabricated and lost wax cast, and the this part is hollow because I want it to be as light as possible because this part's so heavy. And so, and then this is actual maple seed and big leaf maple, and this is a stick, and then this is I just balled up the ends of wire that I pushed through here, so I don't know if you can see it moving.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's
The
movement on those. That's lovely. Oh wow.
You can't put your face in it and show your face, but similar idea. Here's a box that I made, and this is so it's hard to see because I decided to polish it a different way, and it took out everything. So there's some roller pressed more maple leaves, and there's an etched cow in the background, and then this is repoussé. I guess it's repoussage, but where you take a flat sheet of metal and you hammer it from both sides to get this little sculpture, and then you can open it up, and I've got like a silver hinge on the inside.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thanks. And then I have this. So this is my ladle that I made. So I melted the metal and formed the ingot for this, and then hammered it out to this shape. And then this, I formed this too from a flat sheet of metal, and I just riveted the two together.
What is that made out of?
This is silver. It's sterling.
Lovely.
It's like heavy sterling.
That's going to be great for punch bowls down in the South.
Yeah, it's been really good. So this is a piece of lost wax that I did with some tourmaline, and just carved some little bunny rabbits and tree. I like trees. And this
is it just decorative, or is that wearable?
Oh yes, it's a pin. Thank you.
Lovely.
Great question. Yeah. And thank you. And this is a flask, whiskey flask that I made, and it's got some back. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
And there's some mountains in the back, and I've got a nice keyed seam here. This was like so hard to solder, this big old piece. This is cast from, I can't remember if it's from a shampoo bottle or this something, but it was cast from a plastic bottle.
What a great solution. Oh my God, that's brilliant. I love it.
This goes with it. This is the shot glass with some moonstone. and it's all just been fabricated, just sawed out, chased, and then soldered together.
That is beautiful.
Very
Oh
nice.
my gosh.
This is a I'm working on, and so we're sawing, piercing, and so I have it. It's gonna look like that, and I'm gonna probably do something like that as the underside of that.
Shayna,
Let me see.
Wow.
just gorgeous.
cool.
And that's sterling and copper.
Sterling and copper, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the last thing I'm working on is this crown, this crazy big old crown. And so this is the inside.
Oh my gosh.
So these faces are all artists from different types of art, but they're all artists that I admire, and I just wanted them to be on this crown. And so, and I have these trees I'm going to show you soon, and they're going to be like peering out at you through the trees. So that's bad. And then
is that soldered or cold connected on the bottom? I see some rivets there. Is it?
It's all cold connected because I have such a hard time soldering something this big.
Yeah.
And I could. So it's all cold connected. So it's kind of insane. I mean, I'm just really I'm praying that this will work.
So tell me about the technique to put in the faces. What were you doing there? Were you using, oh my Lord.
Oh,
I made a lot of these. Actually, these aren't very pretty. These are prettier. But I made a bunch of these tools out of steel, and this isn't very pretty, but I use this to chase. I just hammer. So basically it's like, like just in the faces. I did that. So it's not etched or it's not
it's chased or stamped in.
Yeah, yeah. So and then I have this guy going on top.
That is amazing.
Thanks. So it's gonna fit a little. I'm gonna let it go down to the ground, but yeah, it goes in front, and yeah, and then I'm gonna have. So this is like, I hope this works. So anyway, you can't tell, this is silver too, and it's not finished, but I have these little guys here, and these are little rockets, and then I have these little hinged doors that are gonna go. Be able to see, but they're gonna go there.
Oh wow!
I want you to be able to open them, boop, and
right.
And then they're gonna go behind here, like that, and so they're gonna go on top. And so these are supposed to be like a sun, so the sun door, so you can go through the sun door, and then you have the trees and the people looking through the trees, and then you have three-dimensional trees, and then you have these people that they're supposed to be singing, but sometimes they look like they're yelling, which I'm okay with. And then you have like these little creatures that are just little, and they're gonna have stones set all over them and too. So
now I see the little rings on there. Is that to hold another piece or candles or?
These, yeah, these are. That's a good idea. But no, these are going to be like little like stones like that. Like,
oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So and then there's going to be stones inside here too. I'm going to like little cage and open it up and put the little stone in and close it. And then they have there's going to be stones on the little animals too in different places. You can see like bezels and things.
That is magnificent.
Thank you. So yeah, those are my little creatures. And
how long have you been working on this piece?
Probably like, I don't know, like 18 years, like not off and on. I mean, I had the idea like forever ago, and then I didn't do anything, and then so then it's just been like I had to wait for the studio to be built, and it took years to finish it, and so finally, I'm in the studio. And
oh my gosh.
So
that is amazing. How, I mean, ultimately that's going to be worn as a crown is the idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be more of a sculptural piece.
That's spectacular. That's spectacular. So,
we're close to time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you've got, where can people find you? What's your website?
Yeah, so it's Star Gift Song. And so I'm on Instagram and I have stargiftsong.com and I have an Etsy shop called Star Gift Song. So yeah, that's me.
Great.
Awesome. So we had one question.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Jane Martin wanted to know where your exhaust fan motor was.
It's in the attic.
It's in the attic. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, well, stick around while we go through the other tours, and we may have more questions for you that show up, and we'd like you to stick around so we can answer those questions. And thank you very much for the tour. Fantastic. Yeah. So, hi everybody. Again, I'm Jennifer Stenhouse, and we're live from Seattle. And I would like to take you over to our next studio, which is Sharrey Doré. She is in the Magnolia part of Seattle, and there is Sharrey. Hey, Sharrey, angle up there, Paul. Hi, you're live. Higher. There you go, a little higher there.
There
you are.
Perfect.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there. Well, how are you? Tell us a little about where you are and what you're doing, Sharrey.
I'm well, and I'm in my studio, in my home, and come on in.
Yay, thanks.
So my cameraman is doing this all for me, my husband, Paul, and this is where my library is.
Lovely.
And some of the work that is current, other work that has been given to me. These are beads work from African and nations that have been gifts, and some artwork that I've collected over the years. But this is my beloved bench.
It's beautiful. Press. Look at that thing. Awesome.
And then this is my hot station. And what we did is I put in a hood that you would normally use in your kitchen. And even though it's higher than what you're normally used to seeing, this fan is so, the outlet is here. This fan is so strong that when I have it on high, it actually sucks the flame out of my torch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I get to have it. It's wonderful. And then I just picked up aluminum sheet for my backdrop so I could have all my tools readily available.
Great. And what kind of torch are you using, Sharrey?
I'm doing the mini torch. It's my little Smith. I love it. And I have to share this, guys, with you. Normally we see the mini torch that comes with the Smith tips. So this is a plug for a friend of mine. And when you use the mini torch, oftentimes, it'll come out very, very precise. So a guy I know named Richard Paley brought and designed this new torch tip, and it's called Paige, P-A-I-G-E. And when didn't fire it up today. This acts more like a bud flame. So instead of that straight flame, it's more of a rounded flame, and it heats beautifully. So
now, does that have the multi-port orifice like the because I know Smith has one, and this is a different version of that?
Yes, except it comes in different sizes, and I use propane and oxygen.
Right.
And this gives you a really nice even flame.
So where can we find those?
You can go on Paige, Paige.com. And I think also Rio Grande might be carrying them. But go to Paige, www.paige.com.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
This is great. I've been using this a lot for some of my larger pieces. My more intimate, really, really tiny, then I'll still go ahead and use my Smith, like my number 3 or my number 4.
Right.
For like jump rings.
Well, and it's good for annealing, I would think too.
Oh,
Yes.
these are fabulous for annealing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So then I have my uncovered right now, my rolling mill. And I want to share this other tool that I use. It's made by Pepe. This is a ring bending tool. It sits in your vise, and it comes in different sizes. You can get them in metal, and you can also get them in acrylic, not acrylic, but a rubber, right? Plastic.
Oh, or Delrin.
Delrin, yeah.
Yeah,
those
and
are
you
Delrin.
slip in a back, and that's why I like the plastic, is because if you're using patterned metal, metal that's been patterned, it won't compromise the pattern. So you slip this guy in, and I don't have anything that's annealed, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use a piece of wire that's brass. So I take this and I slip it on the end, and look at that, guys. Right?
So it just rolls it right in?
It rolls it right in. And look how beautiful that curved edge is.
That's nice.
So let's pretend that this was cut off, right?
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
and
that.
It comes in different sizes, so you get the metal if you want, but I typically use the plastic. So
Very nice.
This is well worth. Pepe makes this. Pepe Tools.
Right.
Auto Fry, Geschwin. That's great. The other thing, I for years used the big buffing machine. Well, I don't use it that often.
Right.
So years ago, Fordham came out with the mini buffing polishing machine. And last year or 2 years ago, they actually came in with a little vacuum that attaches to this. And I'm going to turn it on. Turns on the light. Goes from buffing to polishing, right? What's so cool about this, notice how small the anvil is for small pieces when you're trying to do small areas, and you usually have this great big buffing pad.
Yeah.
It will still accommodate 3 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's not 3 inches. What is that? 2.5, 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
I love that. I just got one of those vents, and I have the little lathe like that, and I have to tell you, I love it because it has the removable catch pan, so it catches all the loose stuff. It has the changeable filter. It has a variable speed on the fan. It has a light and a face shield. I love this tool. I agree with you. I love it. Yeah.
And you can send this into the refiner. So if you're working with gold or high carat metal, you can send this whole thing into the refiner and they'll pull all the precious metal out of it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Along with your scrap. Oh yeah, buddy. Cash.
That is awesome.
So,
and you have your little ultrasonic to clean it all off with when you're done.
Yep, I've got my ultrasonics over there.
Mm-hmm.
I keep a lot of my hand tools on this lower level, and I've got my dapping tools, my draw plates, more dapping tools and punches and disc cutters.
I really like the idea of using like the space for maximum efficiency. Like you've got that you've got all your things stored below, and it makes it really easy to bring out the things when you need them and save some space in a small studio. That's brilliant.
Yeah, because this is no more, what do you think, 8 by 10? If that much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us about the thing that's on your bench that you just got.
So, because my eyesight was going all to heck, I finally invested in my microscope. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's the best thing I've ever invested in. And
so
it's
tell me about your bezels now.
These? Oh, my bezels? Like 100. So, you know, everything looks so beautiful, you think, in the naked eye. And then all of a sudden you have your piece photographed by a professional and you see every imperfection that you could possibly think of, let alone not think of. Well,
Right.
this guy helps you see what you missed. So
What's the magnification on that?
You know, I should know, it's a Leica A60.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good. So, but I want to show you this other thing because I love it.
Show us.
So years ago, I invested in the Benchmate.
The GRS?
GRS Benchmate. Been my best friend for at least 10 years. So I'll show you, which is great. So you put that in and you have your, notice my well-worn wooden pin, thank you. And
so it's a tongue and groove system that holds all those different tools on there, right?
It does. And if you'll notice, you'll see how it fits in there, right?
Yep. Little tongue and groove. Yeah.
So here's what's wonderful. Put this other one in. Oh, it's got a key that you lock everything down. But
what's this one hold, Sharrey?
This little tool. So first I got this one that holds a ring band.
So it's like a ring clamp?
A ring clamp, yep.
Does that work well for things like
lights?
setting stones and things like that?
That is exactly. So here you go, for instance. And this is good for a certain width of a band, right? So these are great. And notice you've got all of the versatility in using, and you can, and when you're setting your stones, regardless of what you're using, you know, here you are, and you're literally able to use whatever it is that you want to use.
Is that a hammer handpiece from Fordham?
No, but I will show you one.
You've got all the good tools.
Oh,
This is like,
I'm such a junkie.
you know we call this, you know what we call this?
I'm such a junkie, but I got to show you this other cheap way to do this.
Okay.
So, for instance, there you go. Now, this is, so let's say I've got a seam here with a pattern. And let's say I wanted to incorporate that seam like I'm doing. So I literally could flatten that seam with my handpiece and come back with another tool and incorporate that pattern and disguise that whole seam.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but then I got to show you this other thing. Oh my God.
Do it.
I will. I love the tools.
Is it another attachment for the GRS?
Yeah. So this
What
is
does it
great
do?
for the ones that for the band that fits like so, right?
Right.
All right. So let's say you got a different band with a bezel that you have a different stone that you want to put in. So then we get this little guy with all these attachments. And this is one of my favorites. If I can do this.
So it holds it from the inside?
Yeah, here you go. So this has two spots to it, right? Two pieces to it. So we're going to stick once again, and this is another ring device that we are going to place. Hopefully I've got the right one. This device fits in this rubber piece that literally, oh, here you go. So here's a rubber piece that's going to fit on the inside of the ring. Okay.
Right. Then what happens?
You're going to place that little cylinder in there.
Right.
And then you're going to place this band on the inside, screw it in.
Oh, so for like engraving, or if you're doing pave on the
Engraving or
outside.
stone setting. Hopefully I have the right tool here. And what this
Lovely.
does is it expands this ring band so that
I need that.
I'm telling you, girl, it's wonderful. And it stops this band from spinning.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
So,
well,
again,
Sharrey,
mm-hmm.
How much does something like that cost?
I bought this, I'll bet you 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't buy the whole kit and caboodle. Get the initial piece, which is the bench pin, and depending on how many rings you get or how many rings you make, this I would suggest that you get. You know, I should have looked at it before tonight. Go on AutoFry, go on GRS, and go on what's the other one? Geschwin. And compare, don't go on Rio. I love them, but go on those 3 vendors I told you, because they're having all kinds of specials, especially right now.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Great. So what are you working on real quick? Because I know we're going to be running out of time here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you one more thing.
Okay.
The graver's block, which is what they had by GRS, which is great for people that do engraving. So years ago, I bought this. Here's what's really cool. I think it's 3 something. Now they bought the mini. And this is
it's so wee.
They bought the mini. And this again, when you're setting stones or whatever.
It's a universal engraving block, right?
That's right. GRS again. And everybody's having a sale. So take them up on it. And this guy, fabulous, right?
Look at that little
Save
guy
your
spin
hands.
around.
Huh?
Oh my gosh. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's fabulous. Okay. So I have not been making jewelry as of late. Guess why? Because I'm not doing any shows. So I started working on doing some precision work for upcoming classes. And right now, I've been working on making boxes because, you know, one of the things I find students, what they challenge with is accuracy and precision. They want to make pretty, but if you don't know how to be accurate and make precision work, it's difficult to get there, right?
Right.
So I've been doing some boxes, showing them how to make corners, how to measure, how to fit pieces within a piece. Okay. Woo!
Right. Oh, there it goes.
Yep, there it goes. And
Well, it survived the drop test.
that's right. And then the other thing is now this was not terribly successful. I'm still working on it. How to make a hinge on a round box.
So tell me, this brings up a good question too. How do you tell a student when they feel like they have done something that's not as successful? How do you sort of talk to a student about something like that? And they're like, it's not successful. I'm a failure. What?
But it's always successful because that's just the opportunity to learn. I mean, how many times have we all melted or, you know, to this day, I'll still melt whatever it is that I'm working on. I'm tired. I shouldn't have been there. I always say there's some days you should go to the soldering station and there are other days that you shouldn't.
Yep.
Just go do something else. Okay. But the reality is that there are no failures. It's really about the journey.
Yes.
It's just plain about the journey. Right.
Absolutely.
So
well, thank you very much. Is there any last words? Any last thing you want to say before we go?
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
We have a question. Hold on just a second. So you are teaching at Pratt, correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Are you teaching anywhere else?
Soon to be through Fox, through
Little
this
Metal
channel
Fox?
right here. Yes.
Little metal foxes.
Little
Oh,
metal
that would be
foxes.
awesome.
And then what is
Yay.
your favorite tool?
Right now, because this is saving my eyesight, my microscope. and my benchmate. Those are my favorite tools.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We just love you. Thank you very much.
Thank
So, yeah. So moving on to our next studio, I feel like we're having this wonderful progressive dinner.
I know, it's great.
I know, isn't it, Helen? We're having such fun. I feel like we're hosting an NPR show.
Only on
so-
Terry Gross, you know.
I know, right? So
There you go.
on to our next fabulous artist, Micki Lippe, in her studio in Seattle. Micki, hi, how are you?
Hello.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you and your studio.
Well, this studio I've been in for 2 years. And for the 18 years before that, I couldn't believe it was that long. I was right across the street.
Oh,
And then they decided to repurpose that building. I think they found a nonprofit that they ended up renting it to, but we got kicked out. And Midori Kishan found this space, and Jennifer Bennett and I came in with her. So Jennifer and I just had to move across the street, which was really
that's
great.
fabulous. How convenient.
And
Well, show
we
us around your spot.
We had, well, let me just tell you, so we had this stop traffic. We had somebody get out there and just stop traffic on Jackson.
The cart, everything.
And then, and then we had this trail of women who were all carrying parts of the studio across the street. It was great. And then we let traffic go again.
For those that are watching that are in other places, Jackson is a rather busy street, by the way.
Busy street. Yeah.
And it's a very big hill. It's not like it's, yeah.
Yeah. But we
That's
just
a pretty
said,
big hill right there.
women say stop, you know, and we did.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
We're going to go now over to my space in the studio, and I'm going to show you the way I solder. And let's see if this, well, it worked the other day. Hold on.
Sure. Lovely. Good angle. Yeah.
Let's stay. It was staying the other day.
Mhm.
I'm the complete opposite of Sharrey. I am totally low tech and have as few tools as possible. And so that's just how I manage, you know.
Right.
I have always this little stack of soldering blocks. And the main thing is, you know, when you're soldering, you want your chair to be at the height so that your back is straight. You don't want to be bending over. So I get my chair at the right height. And then if I want to adjust the height, I can just change these out.
Nice. So you can adjust your chair and your bricks.
Yes, but mainly
Nice.
I leave the chair the way it is because it's right for my legs and everything. And I mainly just adjust the bricks. I have 5 pairs of these self-locking tweezers that live over here, but sometimes I'll line them
Girl
all
can never
up.
have too many tweezers.
Yeah. And because I was a production jeweler for so many years, you know, it's all got a flow to it. So I'll put something in each of these and then just solder down the line. The solder pick that I prefer is this one from Allcraft. And if you can see, it has an asbestos coating. It's a non-asbestos coating. So it does not get hot. And the end inside of here is a rod. And when it gets all gooped up with flux and whatever, you can just take it over and just file it off and get a nice point again. And this
Fantastic. Is that steel or tungsten? Do you know?
I think it's steel,
Okay.
but I'm not totally sure. But I know, I mean, and everybody to know, you don't file it anywhere near your silver filings. You go to another little place and file it. And then I clean the file after, because I'm going to go back to silver. And I find that this non-asbestos stuff kind of wears off as I file it down. This wears off, so I always have about this much exposed.
How long did that start?
This is a fairly new one, so it was only a little bit longer. But
you can use that down to a shorter stone.
I'll use it till it gets down to about here, you know.
Right.
And I want to just also say, I do not have a vent system for my soldering. When we were across the street, we had the UW people come out and assess our situation.
Oh,
and
good.
He basically said that unless you're sitting there all day, every day, the fumes that are coming off are not harmful. Now, in my old studio, I did have an exhaust system because I had someone who was sitting there soldering all day, every day.
Well,
So
and what you're working with too, the different chemicals can have different properties as well.
Right, but his advice, which I'm going to operate on, is, and I'll solder for maybe 10 minutes and then I'll be over working on something else and back soldering, and then sometimes I'm doing something else and I won't be here for an hour or two.
Right.
But
what kind of torch are you working with?
So I use the Smith Little torch, and I use mainly the 4 and the 6 tips. And I also want to put in a plug for them. I was having some problems, and so I called the company, and 2 very lovely women helped me out with what I needed, and the part I needed was in the mail the next day.
Wow.
So
Micki, quick question.
Uh-huh.
Do you have in your studio, do you have any shared workstations, or is everybody's workstation separate? I know there's some shared space.
Yes, there is some shared space. So I'll do just another minute here.
Okay.
I keep 2 flux areas. So this is liquid flux, and there's a brush that goes with it. And this is a little Pringles container, and I've melted a little divot into it to catch and I've cut the end off of the brush because you don't need all that. And the other flux is over here, and this is for dipping the solder pick in and then picking up the solder. So the little piece of solder, and so it comes over on the end of the soldering pick. And I take my sheet solder, and it goes in the rolling mill on almost as thin as the rolling mill will, so that when I'm cutting pallions, they're fairly large size. I can see them, but they're really not very much solder. So, and I have down underneath here, I have a little cloth for wiping everything after it's been in the water to quench. Then the cloth is here. So let's move back. This is my other bench where like putting things together and all takes place, and the tools are down below. And this area is also putting things, and I always have lots of stuff out. That's just the way I am. And, this is some work that is finished and in progress. And this is Midori's space over there. And then Jen Bennett's space is here. And this is the shared space right here. This is hammering and the vise and the draw plate, and all of that is the shared space. And then this is the rolling mill. And Midori says that if you stand next to me for long enough, I'll probably put you through the rolling mill. Um, because I put almost everything through the rolling mill at one point or another. All of the little wires that I used, that's round wire that's been through the rolling mill. So instead of cutting pieces of sheet, I have a nice rounded edge and I don't have to worry about it. And there's the rest of the studio. We have a little kitchen. We have other tools there. We go back over here. I want to show you some of the finished work. I wonder if I can just do it like this. Can you see now finished work?
Yes.
Okay.
Lovely.
So this necklace is like the one I'm wearing, and
Which
the
one?
black, this one,
Okay.
and that is car tire that I found on the street.
Nice.
And
I was going to ask you about your materials.
yeah, so it's all sterling silver with little bits of 22 karat bimetal.
Okay.
And
But you're
I
also
don't-
using a lot of found objects as well, yes?
a lot of found objects. I don't pickle anything. If you notice, there's no pickle pot.
Oh,
So what you see here is just the color from the torch. The pickle pot is in the drawer.
wow. Are you
And,
using an oxidizer on the silver? Or are you using some
no,
sort
not
of
usually. It's
patina?
usually just the color that came from the torch. Like this
Interesting.
piece is just all what happened from the torch. The flux, of course, cleans it so that you can solder, but there's no pickling that happens.
Are you using a self-pickling flux?
It's the Handy Harmon white paste flux.
Interesting.
So these are some pieces of mirror that I found on the street out front here. This is the top of a bottle cap, and this is a piece of wood from the forest.
Ooh.
There's
You do a lot of hiking. Do you pick up some of these pieces when you're hiking?
some of it, but a lot of the inspiration comes from the hiking. So today I hiked to Poo Poo Point, which is a 7.5 miles round trip.
Wow.
And we saw all of the people taking off in their hang gliders. It was so much fun. So
Oh my
this
gosh.
a lot of the broken mirror, and here's a necklace that's in progress with the broken mirror. And these are earrings. This is a little piece of plastic that I found. It was just sitting there when I got out of the car in a parking lot. There it was. And it's
Oh my gosh.
beautiful. This is a piece of broken glass, and this is an absolutely beautiful piece of vinyl that I found.
Wow.
And then some 22 karat gold. Another mirror necklace, mirror earrings that are in progress. And this is a necklace that I'm doing now with the leaf and a piece of black plastic that I found on the street.
Lovely. So I know I asked Nicole this, I forgot to ask Sharrey, so we'll ask her here in a minute. But where would one find your work?
My work is at Waterworks Gallery in Friday Harbor. It is at Bainbridge Arts and Crafts. And you can contact me directly at Loosely Hinged is the name of my website.
All right,
Lovely.
I put the Loosely Hinged in the chat. We did have a request that if we could go back over some of your finished jewelry, that a little more focus on the jewelry itself, because it was a little, yeah, there we go. Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah. I love the mirror piece you're working on. That's just that beautiful necklace.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
There's two of them. So this is one, and then that's the other one.
Absolutely.
Oh, there was just something. So this piece, I'm gonna go around here. This is just the color on that leaf is just what happens from the torch.
Nice.
So that it's just the way, and this is going to be a pair of earrings with a rusted metal on the side there that I found. These earrings, this is a piece of red plastic that I found. So the red plastic goes there, and then these wonderful broken glass pieces. And the red plastic will go in here.
Nice. Lovely, Micki. Oh my gosh. So what is your favorite tool? The rolling mill? Is that pretty much the
Yeah, I think it has to be the roller.
What kind of rolling mill do you have?
It's Durston, I think. I haven't looked at it in so long. I can't read it from here, but I'm pretty sure it's a Durston. And I had, because I had a production line for years, and everything went through the rolling mill with index cards, and that was the surface texture on it. So I first had one which was half this size, and then I sold it and bought this one, the bigger one. Oh, and you know what I want to show you? You should look at this.
Show us, Micki. What is it?
You see that?
Ooh, lovely.
That is something that I devised because we moved every 4 years. And so there were often times I didn't have a table. I couldn't connect it to the floor. So I designed this, and it works beautifully, and you stand right on it. So your weight holds it in place.
That's very smart, because there's so much leverage that's needed to make the rolling mills go. For those watching that aren't metalsmiths, it's
I have photographs of that. If anybody wants to try to build one, I can send you photographs of it.
Fantastic. They can contact you at Loosely Hinged?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us?
I think I would agree with Sharrey. I mean, I totally agree with Sharrey, because when I make a mistake, it's just like, oh, that's the direction this piece is going. Okay.
That's a good one. I like that. Yes. Yeah. Let the piece live in its own world. Absolutely. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Micki. Appreciate you sharing your studio with us. All right. All right, Helen, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So am I. So I'm going to take you on a tour of my studio here in lovely Ballard. If you will, I'm just going to unplug the phone so I can take you for a little ride in my studio. So I've got my little setup when I'm not working on my jewelry, or when I'm not working on my sculpture. I am teaching for Little Metal Foxes. And I also teach I've been teaching for last 20 years at Pratt Fine Arts Center. I've been teaching at Danica, North Seattle College, down in Tacoma, at Tacoma Metal Arts, at Bainbridge Artist Resource Network at the Barn. All of these places are fantastic. And right now it's a little tough because of the COVID-19. So we're trying to find some other ways to sort of approach things and reach out to people. So there are a number of places right now that are trying to find ways to teach online. So I've been doing that with Helen Coward and Julia Lowther. Hi, both of you. And so let me show you around my studio. So I've got it set up right now because I'm usually teaching. I have this fabulous ring light that I'm usually using so I can light up me and my work on the table. But my bench is set up so that I have a monitor when I'm teaching, so I can kind of see what's going on and share information with those watching. I've got my pliers and all my tools kind of right where I need them. I try and Go Hawks, of course. There they are. So I try and organize my workbench and my workspace in the most, according to some efficiency experts, in a way that sort of is laid out by zones. So I really kind of like to organize my space where I have zone A, and the things that are in zone A are the things that I'm using all the time that are highly important. And then in zone B are things that I use occasionally and things that I'm, can kind of reach easily. And then as the tools don't get used as often, they get moved into a little bit farther away and kind of organize them a little bit different way, or put out of, sort of stored away. So they're not on top of my working bench all the time. So that's kind of how I organize my bench and get things set up. And I am a big fan of the label maker. So If you get a label maker, when I got mine, I labeled everything. So I labeled the anvil, I labeled all the drawers, I labeled the rolling mill, I labeled the television, everything. So, but it makes it really easy when you're storing things away to be able to find them. And again, increases, I think, your productivity and your efficiency. But the building that I'm in is kind of fun. It is a historic building that has been in Seattle since about 1910. It originally was a paint warehouse or a lumber, actually it was a lumber mill. And then it became a paint warehouse. And about 16 years ago, it turned into an artist building. So there are about 40 artists in the building and small businesses in the building. And it's really kind of fabulous because it is this wonderful, I'm gonna take you in the hall and show you. But it's like a whole hallway of artists up and down the hall, painters and printmakers and all kinds of artists. So when you come into my studio, come on in. The first thing you see is my mixed media sculpture. And when I moved into this space, I ended up doubling the size of my studio. So I decided I really wanted to have a little place in the front, and we were doing art walks regularly, that I really wanted to use for kind of a gallery. And so I set it up so I could have a little space for people to come and visit my studio. So I actually started in printmaking and photography and ended up doing a lot of mixed media work. My mixed media work is a lot of the stuff that you see here before you. So using a lot of found objects for their color, for their symbolic meaning, and for all kinds of other reasons. But I really love working with pieces that are either found objects or made to look like found objects. So some of the pieces that I have here date back to grad school, and some of them are very current. Some of the muses that I have here are from a show that I just did at the Sharrey. Well, not just, but most recent show. I made those for a show at the Sharrey, which has moved. But the little muses are made with all kinds of little found parts. So this one has some pearls, Egyptian faience, and a sunstone, shell, horn, and all kinds of other materials for those. The good bee here is a piece that has actually a little bee in it, and it's actually a wearable ring. So a lot of the pieces use materials that are not traditionally, jewelry materials, and some are, wearable, and some are more sculptural. And some of the sculptural pieces, kind of come apart and can actually be worn. So that's kind of where my jewelry started. And learning how to do because my sculpture is such a small scale, I was doing jewelry techniques to make my pieces. And so I ended up learning, living and working at the jewelry studio to be able to get these pieces put together. So I ended up with my teaching jewelry at Savannah College of Art and Design. I started the metals and jewelry department there more years ago than I'd like to count. I started working more so in jewelry. And so my production line is one of the things that I also work on. This is, it's inspired by and made by little cuttlefish bones to get that fabulous texture. And so the cuttlefish has this kind of wood grain texture to it. So I do a lot of earrings and little pieces that are wearable. I'm also working on doing some research on a book on casting. And I've got my timeline up here on the wall. And I've also got some of my other sculptural pieces here as well on the shelf. And they've kind of been around for a while. So as we go back into the studio, come with me. I usually have a place here where I can have my, beads and things where I have easy access to those. I also have my, oh gosh, what else? Little storage areas over here. And I like this side of my studio because I can adjust it for a multi-purpose use. So right now it is set up for teaching wax carving. And I've got all my waxes and my molds up above, wax injection, and wax carving down below. So when I'm teaching here from the studio, I'm actually teaching from this side and over on here, and back to what Sharrey was talking about, the little buffing motor from Fordham. I love this little guy. It's great too. So I agree wholeheartedly there. I usually keep all my little sample kits for teaching up here where they are easy access. And I have a little place, and I think everybody probably has this. I use that multi-purpose area for documentation. I use it for polishing when necessary, because I have polishing tumblers and pen finishers that I can take the wax stuff off and put my polishing stuff up there. But I also have a little section over here that's designed just for sort of packaging and wrapping and shipping things out, which I think is kind of handy to have a couple of clean spaces. So when this is not set up for art walk and wax carving, I just put everything away. It goes up into the shelves and sort of stores away. And then I can pull up the tumblers, which I usually store down below. I also have my little solder station over here, and my solder station is set up with the Smith Little torch. I also have an acetylene torch that I'm usually using for the studio here. And so for bigger stuff, but I think I'm going to get one of those cool little torches that Sharrey has. And I have a little vent system for mine. My little vent system is a bathroom fan. So it's been vented out the window. This has been great. And the fan that I have in the window right now is great for the summer months because I can turn it up or down, and it blows out as well as in. So if I need to get a little fresh air in here, or want to vent air out, I can do that very easily with that fan. Also, let's see what else is over here. I do have a little pickle pot by the window as well, so I have good fan coming in. And I'm also currently doing a little research on fluxes. So I have all the fluxes out, a number of different fluxes that I'm sort of researching to find out which ones work best for what. Recently got the a flux bar, or the borax bar and dish, which is great. And whipped up a fresh batch of Prips flux to solder with. And I sometimes work with paste solder as well as chip or wire sheet solder to get things done. When I'm not here in my own studio, I work as a production jeweler for Baleen. So sometimes I'm doing that here in the studio, which is kind of awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to. So
All right, I have two questions.
Sure, yeah.
Your muses, are they wearable?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Okay. And
yeah,
then
absolutely.
A question is to ask, describe how you take photos of your work.
Most of the photos, what I usually do, I have a light box actually that I use over here on this counter, and it pops up, and I have a good macro lens and tripod, and use the light box with LED lights to get a good, the light box that I have was great. I ended up getting it on Amazon for like 19 bucks, and it's got 2 LED light bars in it that are just perfect. And it comes with these background pieces that are kind of like a hard plastic. So there's like no way to stain them or get them dirty. And they're great for the backgrounds. So, and it comes with blue, black, gray, and kind of a weird Honda blue. I haven't quite figured out why they would choose that particular color, but it's yeah, so it makes it really easy to get a great, beautifully lit piece. So I do like that, and I like that it collapses down flat, and I can put it right up in a box on the shelf, and I don't have to store it on the cabinet and out. So that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to see the muses again? Did you want me to take you back over to the muses?
Sure.
And
then
yeah?
What is your favorite tool, did you say?
Oh, there's so many. Well, I do have a new hammer that I'm liking quite a lot.
Oh, and the hand vise.
I did get, my hand vise. Yes. Okay. So the hand vise. So yes, this right now, you're right. This is my favorite tool. Thank you, Adam Savage. So Adam Savage has a wonderful channel on YouTube. I highly recommend you check him out. He does a focus on tools regularly, and he does all kinds of one-day builds. It's great for all kinds of people that are makers. And this was one of his favorite tools. So he was talking about jewelry clamps and how other people, other makers need to be able to hold on to things. And this one is just fantastic. So it has a little V notch in the middle here. So it's great for holding and cutting pieces of tubing. It has little notches in the top and a flat top. But the cool thing about this is that it unscrews and tightens down really nicely. So you're not using like a ring clamp that you're usually sort of, you know, hammering a wedge in the back. It tightens down a little bit differently. And the length, it doesn't matter with something, because a lot of times you're limited by the throat of the tool. This one's hollow and it goes all the way down. So if you have a piece of wire or tube that you're trying to cut, you actually, it can fit down the throat into the handle. So if you're trying to get something squared up or flat, it actually works really well. So this was from Amazon. And if you go to Adam Savage Tested channel, he actually has that video with links to this on YouTube. So Adam Savage, absolutely. Love him. Love you, Adam. Let's do a studio tour with you. So the Muses, they are, there's a series of them, and they are done with, this one is done with, they're all done with Shibuichi on the body. Oops, there we go. Done with Shibuichi on the bodies. And they come off of their stand like so. This one has dentalium, that are the shells that kind of make that little halo area there. This one has a peridot and then the Egyptian faience for the face. The body, like I said, is Shibuichi. It has a little sapphire set in it, and that piece is horn. But they are pins, they are wearable, and they all have little stands that they come with, like that. So yeah, that one's, yeah, Egyptian. This one's actually a raku with a garnet. Yeah, so.
All right, we have another question. Do you make any pieces that represent Washington or the nature around it? And that would actually, I would say that would apply to anybody who is one of our artists tonight.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, most of my production line is definitely inspired by the Pacific Northwest and the ocean and around. But yeah, a lot of my stuff is, a lot of the found objects that I use are.
Okay, so I canceled the spotlight. So if anybody else has, you know, things that they want to say, that they will pop up on the screen now, and we can share the screen. Do we have any other questions from the chat? There is about a 30-second delay, so we have to give them a little time to catch up.
Yeah, give them a second.
Well, I would like to just add that, you know, my work is totally inspired by my hikes that I do every Thursday and the trash that I find on the street. So you can't be much more local than that.
Too true. Too true.
Yeah. So Jennifer Tyler Mostello said he still loves the wolf piece that you made for him.
Oh, thank you, Tyler. He's my nephew in Houston. So
Nice.
hi, Tyler.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. We have not had any more questions yet, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to share that you know, thought of after the fact?
Oh yes, I do. I had a question for Sharrey, actually, because I did not ask you, where would one find your work? Do you have your website up, or where would people find your work?
Yeah, currently on my website, www.sharrey, SHARREY, D like David, ORE.com. My shop isn't up currently, but they can contact me either email or by my telephone number, which is listed in the contact.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, also, if you're looking for my stuff, at jenniferstenhouse.com. And if you're interested in taking classes in jewelry, littlemetalfoxes.com also too. So yeah. All right.
All right.
Well,
so, hold on.
Yeah.
We
Another
have, okay. So, so one of Kristen Shiga wanted to know where you got your ring light, And then, oh, Kristen also asked Sharrey about the website again. Let's see. Oh, do you have a different perspective and pieces for the younger and older generations? I'm not sure. Tyler was asking that.
Is that question for me?
For everybody?
I think it's for anybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that, and I'll just speak for myself, but I'm open to suggestions. And I mean, yeah, I have a style that I like, but I'm always looking at what other people are, let's say, trending. I'm not a production artist, so I do one of a kind. So, but if somebody has an idea or a vision, I love working with that. And the website is www.Sharrey, SHARREY, D like David, ORE.com.
Oh, and Nicole, one of our people, Luda, she really loved the crown. She thought it was stunning. Oh, and here's the ring light, Kristen.
Thank you so much.
Yes, the ring light is I got on Amazon, and it came with the tripod and directions on how to put it all together. And it is yeah, I don't know that it has any particular company, but I think it was about it's about $19 or so. It was not really expensive. And the light box was actually shared with me. I think who shared it with me? It was like a student or somebody. I don't remember, but somebody shared this with me. And it's eMart makes the light box. And it's just a really simple light box with the LED lights. And that also was from Amazon. And it was under, I think it was probably under $20, $30. So it's not very expensive, but it's like a little tint pops up. Or not like the it's not the fabric kind. It's actually like a hard plasticky sort of thing that snaps together. So
oh, there's a lot of tool envy going on as well. Micki?
Yes.
Yeah, I would just like to put in a plug for the Seattle Metals Guild Symposium, which was also part of the email that you got. And we are very excited this year because it is going to be virtual. So no matter where you are in the whole wide world, you can attend the symposium. We have 5 fabulous speakers. We have some spotlight speakers. We have some featured organizations. There's just a whole lot going on. And that's on the website, on the symposium pages, also on the Seattle Metals Guild website. And this is new to everybody. There's going to be, I hope, an exhibition of members' work that we're hopefully going to organize. So everybody be thinking about what you'd like to put in the exhibition.
Awesome.
There's also 32 auctions that we're going to be doing through for the symposium. And if I can put in a pitch for the auction for the symposium, if you want to, we wanted to make it a showcase of Northwest artists, and which would be able to be seen worldwide because it's going to be live on our internet. So we're planning on having sort of a little more of a curated exhibition for the 32 auctions for the symposium. It's going to raise money for the symposium to keep the price down so that we can make it affordable for everybody. It's going to raise money for our artist grants and other educational opportunities and lectures that the Metals Guild does throughout the year. So if you want to donate a piece to that, you can go to the SMG website. Also, if you want to be a sponsor for the symposium, feel free to go to the website, because we really would like to get some great sponsors who are wanting to help us keep the price of the, because we are a not-for-profit organization, and it's all about education and community. And we've been able to do a great emergency artist fund this year as well. So we've had lots of artists that we've been helping, and we've had some very, very generous people out there. So we really rely on the kindness of strangers to help us pull our club together. So,
All right, we have another question. How has each of your work changed or evolved since the pandemic started in creating new pieces or reflecting and challenging yourself to try new things?
I can start. I found out just about the time that the pandemic started that my eyesight had taken another step for the worst. I have macular degeneration, and I am able to get an appointment with a doctor who specializes in devices that help people with macular degeneration. But that appointment is not until August 24th. So I have spent a lot of time at home, since I can't solder, cleaning my house and putting things on free and the next door. So hopefully after I meet with this doctor on the 24th, I'll be back in the studio and soldering again. And I don't know if I will reflect the pandemic in my work or not. I don't know.
yeah. Nicole, have you been making some different work, or has it changed the way you work?
Yes, I have been making more stuff just for myself, making just jewelry. I'm gonna get a necklace. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but yeah, just so I don't know. Can you see that? I'm
Hold it a little closer to your hand.
Yeah, your hand's almost over the lens. There it is. Yes.
Hold on, let me spotlight you. Hold on just a second. Give it a little bit. There we go.
now you can
Oh,
see. Okay.
it's a little out of focus, but it's like a deer.
Yeah, it's
Or
actually an elk, and
an elk.
so it was actually a button I made when I moved to Northwest. I saw elk for the first time, and elk are huge, and so yeah, I saw elk for the first time, and so I made this piece, and then I made a button, and then I wanted to make it into a necklace, so I just made it into a necklace. But yeah, so it does have a bit of the Northwest. If you ever come to the South, the deer here are just tiny little, like Muppets or something. They're so small. But
yeah. They're like the size of Dobermans.
yeah, like dogs. And so anyway, so I just anyway, I've been making rings, I've been making stuff out of gold and just making stuff for myself, basically. It's fun.
Yeah. Sharrey, how about you? Has the pandemic changed the way you've been making stuff?
You know, I'll be really honest. I haven't been at my bench since March. And in a way it's been good, because I've had some things going on in our personal lives that I really needed to just take care of, selling our condo, so forth and so on, getting around to projects that I've been putting off forever and ever. You know, I'm reminded a little bit about what Michelle Obama mentioned about being in a kind of slight depression, not even realizing that I was there. And so when you guys contacted me about this, it was like, I need to get off my ass and do something. And so this has been a great inspiration. You know, I mean, I love making jewelry, but I'll be honest with you, it seems so inconsequential with all this other stuff that was going on. And, but, you know, I'm going to concentrate more on teaching. And, you know, I make what I make when I make it, and I'm happy with that. But like I said, you guys have been a real good shot in the arm and in the butt, and it's all good. And thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, I do have to say, oh yeah, Micki, what's up?
Micki.
I just want to relate an email that I got right when the pandemic started. I got an email from someone who bought a necklace from me 20 years ago. And she said that she went out walking with friends, because that's what you can do in a pandemic you know, staying apart. And she was wearing the necklace that she bought from me 20 years ago. And she got 6 compliments from 6 feet away. And she said how it just lifted her spirits to be wearing something that she knew was handmade and that she had prized for so long and still had a really important part in her life. So I think we have to remember that what we make has a little bit of us in it. We put a little bit of ourselves in each piece. And I think people feel that. I think it's communicated.
So true, Micki.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, even with the production stuff that I do, I think about that, and it's something that I really, you know, I take seriously. It's not just, you know, sticking pieces together, but, you know, each piece is just because of my hand and the way that I'm touching it. Each piece, although they are designed to be the same thing, each thing is going to be a little bit different because of my breath, you know, as I'm soldering, or, you know, just my motion. And I actually, you know, I put together, I don't know, a couple 100 earrings this week, and looking at those, I really do think about that. But yeah, I think this for me, the pandemic and the awareness of, you know, social injustice and voter rights and all the stuff that's been going on over the last several months has deeply affected everyone, of course. And I think it's probably going to take a while for everybody to really let that sort of gestate or incubate in our brains as that's coming out. I know for me, I've been in here up until 2 weeks ago. I was in my studio every single day since March, which for me has been really difficult because I'm teaching in so many different places, that this is the first time in almost, you know, 15, 20 years that I've been able to spend every single day, all day long in my studio. And it has changed the way that I work, and it changes the way that I think. And it has, you know, I mean, ended up starting a whole company so that I could still continue to do the thing that I love, which is teaching with 2 people that I love, and being able to reach a lot of people. And it's been amazing because we've been able to reach people in parts of the world that don't have workshops available to them, which has been amazing. So yeah, it really has sort of changed the way I think about teaching. It's made me a lot more aware of my hand and my work too. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to come out, I think, in other ways as we work through the next couple of years, especially.
Yeah.
Any other questions there, Helen?
No, that's quieted down, and we'll give them just a little bit just to make sure that they don't have any other questions.
Okay.
No delay, but yeah, this has been delightful. You know, I personally have enjoyed it, and I know there have been several comments about how nice it was to. We'll share it with everybody once we're done. You know how much they enjoyed the video tours and the tool envy and everything that's going on.
Oh yeah, we call that tool porn. That's what this is. It's tool porn. It's live
It's
on
totally
YouTube.
True.
Tool porn.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies, thank you very much for sharing your evening and your studios with us. Absolutely.
Nice to see everyone.
Yes,
wonderful to see you. And thank you very much. And we look forward to the Seattle Metals Guild Symposium, October 10th. And you can find more information about that on the Seattle Metals Guild website. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, there's information there. If you are an artist in need, there is the artist fund if you're in a dire situation. If you are someone who can help those people out, you can make a donation there as well. So there's a lot of things going on. So check out our webpage, check out the Facebook page, and join us. And it's a great community of people. So
SeattleMetalsGuild.org, and that is a plural metals.
Metalsguild.org. Yes. Thank you. All right. And
Be
thank
safe,
you, Helen,
be
for
well.
hosting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Healthy.
Mwah.
Good night, everybody.
Good luck,
Good night.
Micki.
Thank you.